Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 203 of the JARCAST. I'm your host, Alex, joined, as always, by James.
James.
And Jamie over there.
Howdy.
How you do, partner?
Noon.
Before we delve into the intricacies of the show, I'd like to first off thank those on iTunes who rate us 5-star. Very important to the algorithms and all of that, and the support on Spotify and any way you listen. And of course the patrons who support us over at Patreon, who guarantee a new episode arrives at their door in audio form every week.
Every Monday at 6 o'clock.
Every week. We've been fairly consistent. This must be the most consistent thing I've ever done. Is this very too. Podcast for 203
with ease,
episodes or something.
I've had jobs that have gone on less than this podcast.
Many years.
Yeah.
5 long years. We got some stuff to talk about today.
Indeed we do.
As we always do. As time is completely unrelenting and will just not stop. Will not give us a single chance to honestly just have a think. Do you ever ponder about that?
Yeah,
the things you could
time
do?
always lasts the longest when you don't want it to, and vice versa.
Right, so when you're
Like
having
when-
a whale of the time, you know.
Yeah, it goes really fast.
It's that famous phrase, if you love whales and you love time, then your time will probably go fairly quickly.
I often think about it when I'm lying in bed, like when I've woken up for an early morning. I'm like, I wish time would just give me another hour. But it won't. I've got
Time!
Yeah.
See, that's the weird thing. When I'm in the morning, because I'm one of those who kind of gets up like 6:30 odd. I'm kind of up from then to...
So you're a cretin. That's what you're saying.
I'm a cretin.
You're a creep, even.
I'm a creep.
That's a bit too far.
Basically, I get up super early, body clock and all, and then I need to get out of bed like half hour later. Those half hours, the most blissful time ever, because those moments of in and out of sleep literally last hours, but they don't. And I don't know
You mean
why.
in your head they figuratively last hours?
No,
Yeah,
I
they
know
just
what you
don't
mean,
End.
and that's what you want, but it doesn't, like, give you sleep energy, you know?
No, it straight
Yeah.
up gives me sleep energy.
Well, it doesn't give me sleep energy.
Isn't it not like a placebo thing where you're like, yes, nice.
No, but if it's in your head, then that's good. Even if you're thinking it's a placebo thing, and you feel more energized.
What?
You are. But then
If you feel more energized than you are.
I'm a few years ahead of everyone, and I actually sleep in my car at lunch. So then I have more energy because I use my time.
How?
This
Is it not really uncomfortable?
everyone who I say this to freaks out of it. So
You lose it.
you're working an 8-hour day, and in that you've got an hour break. An hour is quite a lot of time to do nothing when you're doing that long of a day. So what's the point of just spending that time, sitting at a table or on your phone? Go to sleep.
When do you eat then?
I eat. I get to my car and I use the first 10 minutes to eat, and then I sleep.
You stuff your cheeks like a hamster and then you lie there slowly chewing and sleeping. Smart.
Yeah, because it does. It's the most effective way, an efficient way to use your day. Because when you get home, you don't have to go to bed as early, so you can have more time in the evening to do what you need to do. Get up at the same time. You're just using that hour that you would do nothing productive to be productive.
So you're a passionate napper. The passionate napper.
I'm a passionate napper.
In Borderlands, if you're first introduced, it would go, James, the passionate napper.
And there's actually, some fact behind this. And
Explain.
let's just say you're having a really bad day. You've come in on a Thursday, you've been hit by the really tight deadlines, loads of work, and you're stressed. What are you going to do with that stress? You're going to let it fester in your head all day until the end of the day, and you're probably going to drag it home. So why bother with that when you can just get through the main part, and then in that hour you've got to which you'd rather spend angrily eating food, sleep.
Why angrily?
Because if you're stressed, you're going to be like, oh.
Yes.
So what's the point in that when you can sleep, get a good amount of nap, go in for the last 4 hours of the day, and you'd be fully energized to not be stressed? It's a better way of life.
James sounds like one of those YouTube advert guys. They're like,
hi guys, don't close this ad.
yeah. I saw one of those.
Do you want to be more efficient in life?
Yeah, I saw one of those that's like, there's a common misconception that to be successful, it takes a lot of hard work. That's just wrong. Like,
Yeah, this guy is making £100,000 a day from his home.
Yeah.
One of those.
Filling surveys out.
Yeah.
And sleeping in his car.
No, but honestly, it's helped me just, deal with stressful days a bit better because I can go in a bit not as stressed.
Anything to recharge.
Yeah, and it means that I can just play video games longer. And it's worked for me, so I don't know, it might work for
Not
you.
video games. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Last episode we talked about snakes as pets.
We did.
A topic we were, particularly I think, was quite fascinated in the realistic kind of implication of
Snakes.
We had a few listeners report back, a few snake owners out there. Is there like a certain name for a snake owner? For snaky owner?
I'm not aware
Parcel
of it.
tongue or something.
Yes.
Slytherin?
I've heard that. Yeah, Slytherin.
Something like that.
Yeah, so a few Slytherins wrote in, gave us some feedback. Mumbo Bumbo wrote in with this to say: I've kept snakes for over 5 years now, corn snakes, ball pythons and hognoses, and I was very happy to hear the snakes discussion on episode 202. As snakes don't produce body heat, they need to keep themselves warm using an external source. Think basking under the sun. Human body heat works well for this, so a snake would happily sit on a human's lap to keep warm and hold onto their arm, as James was saying.
Oh, yeah.
I personally keep snakes as I'm very interested in herpetology. Is that right? Herpentine-tology? But they have other purposes. See, I'm the one that always has to read everything, so I'm the one who always looks like a fool for like struggling on obvious scientific words.
Nobody's laughing at you for struggling on herpetology.
I saw the way you looked at me and it delved deep in.
No, because I was thinking of herpaderp, the old old
as well,
internet
actually.
shit. So that's nothing to do with you reading funny words.
Herpentine theology. Yeah, I personally keep snakes as I'm interested in herpetology. But they have other purposes. For example, the pheromones produced by snakes are a natural rodent repellent. So we brought that up briefly.
Dude, that's quite good.
I really like how simple they are. I don't want a pet that barks and runs around all the time. All I have to do is give them a mouse/rat once a week, which I both frozen and defrost, and make sure temperatures are right and they always have fresh water.
See, they aren't super high maintenance. You feed them once a week.
Don't you find that quite weird, though, that people have, like, mice and rats as pets, but you can also buy the same animal as food for a different pet?
Yeah,
In
that
like,
you keep in the freezer.
yeah, just like a bag of chicken nuggets, but it's a bag of fucking frozen rats.
Little mice.
Yeah, I still don't think let's say I've been convinced that for someone like myself I would ever be interested in the miracles of a snake pet, but I can see the appeal.
I quite like the feeling of fur, though.
Snakes feel quite nice at the very least,
But it's not the same, like when you're tickling behind a dog's ear. And
because we've got the mammalian sort of respect.
Mammalian respect. So do you respect bears?
I respect them by fearing them immensely.
Would you scratch a bear behind the ear?
No. I would hope I would never be close enough to a bear's ear to be able to scratch it.
Yeah, but bears are really interesting as well because they, much like dogs, can like grow super attached to people. And I was like, there's this one like bear in World War One that was just like in the platoon and was just like
World War One bear.
yeah, used to carry shells and like fight people and shit. Like, Christ. On the subject of rats, actually, in my office at home, there was this really weird smell. Really kind of... I can't describe how bad this smell was. It was fucking disgusting.
Like rotting corpse kind of smell?
And for ages, I started to smell it, and I was like, this don't smell right. And then my parents picked up on it. So he went through the entire fucking room, and I couldn't find a single thing. And for the last month, I'd noticed the guys would always go to this corner of the room and would constantly sniff. Obviously, my stupid mind didn't connect the two for ages. Yeah. And you know those plug sockets?
Mm-hmm.
You can get ones where you put cables through if you're going to wire them around.
Yeah.
Yeah, a rat crawled behind that died. So this hole was just open in the room with the fucking scent of a dying rat just filling the room.
How rotten was it?
We haven't seen. We just okay, seal it up.
Oh, really?
Seal
Too scared.
That's what I'd do, to be fair.
Oh, no, because it was
you want to get it out.
It was behind the wall.
Oh.
Because it's obviously in part of houses, you have that kind of corner where all the pipes from going upstairs. So it was in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got. Obviously, it went from outside. But then I just didn't notice that guys were sniffing it constantly.
Yeah.
And and that snake in the first place, that wouldn't have happened.
I guarantee you there's a rat somewhere within these very walls. Somewhere.
I hope not.
Just one. No, they say, don't they? You're never more than 10 meters away from a rat
From a little
when you're in your
ratting.
home.
Yeah, I think that's
There's
probably
vermin
correct.
that squirm around.
That's why you buy a cat or a Gaius or a snake.
Yeah.
So something huge has happened.
Oh?
Something I honestly wasn't planning on even engaging in or even watching, to be honest. If I'm being totally honest. But a trailer for a certain movie has dropped. And that's, that happens very often.
And we, as movie people, watch trailers.
Well, this is 2020. I mean, big blockbusters are a dime a dozen. It takes something a little bit out of the ordinary. Something special to be worthy of being brought up on the JARCAST for one reason or another. But this movie that is coming out in particular goes by the name of... it's one of those kind of not really well-known kind of indie kind of movies not many people have heard of. It's called Fast 9.
It's like a foreign film.
The 9th in the Fast series or something. I'm sort of new to it myself. But
that's a lie.
Okay, you got me. I couldn't help it. I'm a habitual liar.
We all know what's up. We all know the score. Fast and Furious.
We all know the family.
We are the family.
Once you discover the family that is the Fast and Furious franchise, even if you can't stand it, you still feel part of that family. Just like a real estranged family.
Yeah.
It's there, it exists, and you're either with it or you're not.
And I'd like to add that I'm a part of the family ever since I was a little boy. I've watched every single Fast and Furious movie multiple times.
It's almost like... Stick with me on this, but it's almost more of a creed. It's kind of a creed. That it's like YouTubers call their fans cringy titles.
Yeah.
Our old channel, we used to say welcome family.
Yeah, welcome back family.
Indicating that those listening and engaging were like family to us, and it's in a sense that's what the Fast and Furious franchise has.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Done. That's what it's all about. Don't know what the point of what I was just talking about really was, aside from the fact that we watched the new trailer for it's called Fast 9. There's no consistency to the naming.
No,
because there was Fast 5.
Yeah.
The second one was Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
The third one was Tokyo Drift, just Fast and Furious.
But then there's Furious 7, right?
Yeah.
The 7 one isn't.
Yeah.
It's just called Furious 7, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
And then what was 8 called?
Just 8.
I don't even know, but the thing with Fast and Furious is everyone from the car group, everyone loves Fast and Furious. It's the way a lot of people got into it. But it's now, you look at the first one, and then you look at what it is now. I've never known a movie to constantly up itself. Constantly.
Yeah.
The way
It's
Fast
like
and Furious.
power creep, but in movies.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like it's jumping they jumped the shark so many movies ago that they
Yeah.
have to keep finding new sharks
To
to jump
jump.
over new things that are more and more impressive as they go along. Well,
And-
impressive in quotation marks.
We obviously watched one of the worst Fast and Furious films, Hobbs and Shaw, last year. That turned out to be...
Yeah, I don't know where it would rank, to be honest, that one.
It's better than 8.
Because let's briefly say the ones we like and the ones we don't. Because in my mind, the most entertaining one is probably 7 for
Yeah.
me. In my mind,
The last one
no
with
doubt.
Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of my least favorite ones is 8. I found that one so
Yeah.
difficult to sit through just for the boring factor.
Mm-hmm.
It's
got one good scene. Maybe
Yeah, the baby plane fight scene is
Yeah.
the only kind of humorous, kind of fun sequence in the
Yeah.
whole movie.
There's a semi-decent prison escape, I think, as well, with Jason Statham.
Sort of. But that just blends into Hobbs and Shaw, doesn't it? It's like the same.
Yeah.
Same
Well,
stuff.
it's just a shame because Jason Statham is great, but he's always paired up with The Rock, who sucks.
Yeah, The Rock is terrible in all of them. Vin Diesel's terrible in all of them. Jason Statham is awesome in all of them that he's in. And the other ones kind of just have a couple of funny things about them. Like is it Fast 6 or 5 where Vin Diesel like jumps like...
That's 5, right?
It's 5. Yes, like the first moment they become like actual
That
superheroes.
was the first jump shark moment.
What, when he jumps through a building?
If that's
No,
but
that's
Fast 4 isn't 4 the one with the
I think-
safe?
No,
that
Fast
five?
5
That's
is
5. It's the same one.
You haven't seen 4?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen
I've
4.
never seen 4.
So is 5 the real jump the shark
Yes,
one?
that's
with
with
the
the
safe
bank- the
bouncing
bank vault.
around.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the first one with The Rock in, I think.
Yes.
that's right. Okay, it's all coming back to me now.
There's
all that
been
awful.
slightly funny moments, but the slightly humorous moments never make up for the stuff in between.
Yeah, because they're normally really boring.
Hmm.
That's their biggest crime, I reckon.
Yeah.
There's like so much of it's just so boring.
What's lame to me though is that like when I saw ads for like the first 2, I thought it was like for car people, you know?
And
Yeah, that's what I always assumed it was.
Yeah. So like why did they just drop that? Because it's not about
Because now it's just like
vehicular stuff anymore. It's like
it's
a
like an
spy
action
thriller
movie.
action.
I don't
comedy.
understand it, because you had the first one that was just like, it was committing crimes, but it was basically about racing each other in modified cars.
Mhm.
Hence why it became so popular, hence why it's got so much influence. Second one was like kind of racing again.
That's the really homoerotic one, isn't it?
Yeah.
With Tyrese
Yeah.
and Ludacris.
Then you got the third one, which was like the deviation. It's like the offspring of Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, which back
The changing
when,
point of the series.
back when it came out, drifting was still new, and now it's huge. Everyone knows drifting. It's
Mhm.
massive.
Yeah.
They haven't gone back to that one. That's still dead, which doesn't make sense to me. Then they rebooted the series after the failure of Tokyo Drift,
Yeah.
and that's when they started becoming more action-packed.
That's a good point, probably, yeah.
And then it jumped the shark at 5, and it was just like, okay, then that's it. And since then, it's just gone.
It's getting increasingly more absurd as it goes along. With one of the main things of note that is like just really funny to me is how it kind of has that Star Wars problem where the more things they introduce, the more they feel the need to like tie everything together.
Yeah.
So in this new one, they tease that John Cena plays Vin Diesel's brother in the movie, which is like such a funny idea to me. How they've gone 9 movies and never mentioned that he had a brother that was like a super spy. It's so funny to me. It makes me think of like G.I. Joe or like something really corny like that.
I think they did mention his brother briefly in the first one.
Really?
Dom had family, like actual family, not the fucking Fast and Furious family.
You see his extended family, of course, in the Netflix animated series.
Yep. Of course, yeah.
I'd recommend checking out if you've got.
See, we're actually deep, like Fast and Furious
Yeah.
fans. This is the Fast and Furious podcast,
But yeah, so Fast 9 is coming out,
and it looks awesome.
No, I'm kind of. There's one thing you've got to point out. They tease right at the end the return of a character who is confirmed dead in the one
In
two.
7.
This is twice they've
this.
killed a major character
Uh-huh.
and had like the story of one of the movies majorly anchor around a character being killed.
Yes.
And then
The one before Fast 5 was the one with Dom's girlfriend or whatever dying. That is the whole thing to the next 2 movies is about that
Mhm.
kind of.
and then they just undo it because they just show her death scene from a different angle, and it was actually like, oh no, she was fine.
Yeah, but she lost
got,
her memory.
Yeah, she got amnesia from it, but otherwise she was fine.
And they're gonna do the exact thing of different angle for the new one as well. For the hand.
I'm actually
and
like, it's getting to like Saw levels of like. This is so convoluted
Hasn't
that
the
part of the enjoyment is how they're actually explaining, like, just how any of this is even happening at this point.
Didn't the actual director direct Saw?
There is, yeah, you're right. There is a crossover. The guy who directed Seven,
Yeah, and
which is the
Aquaman.
best one, directed the Saw. Came up with Saw. But yeah, so aside from characters just being brought back from the dead,
Which is just
because they created that issue with what's the British guy who we like who's in those movies?
just Jason Statham.
Jason Statham. They show that he was the guy who killed the Asian guy,
Yeah.
and that's why he was like a villain. And then it made it really weird that like Jason Statham was at the family barbecue with them, even though he was responsible for murdering one of their best friends.
Yeah.
But now that's been undone, so it's not weird that he was there.
So the whole 7th movie is pointless, almost.
It's all pointless. Let's not be around the bush.
Each one is pointless once the sequel comes up.
Yeah, but now we're getting to a point now where they're coming up with action scenes that like you would see in a traditional movie, like take Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, for example. There's the scene at the end with the bridge. There's like a whole action sequence with the bridge.
Awesome action sequence.
Yeah. So they probably were like, oh yeah, remember that bridge scene from Indiana Jones? Imagine that, but with cars. So there's like a scene in the trailer for Fast 9 where they're like Jumanji swinging off like a rope from a bridge, but on a car.
No, it shows them driving up this rope bridge as it's falling. They're driving up it.
Yeah.
And then later on, they like drive into
Off a cliff. They drive off a cliff.
Off a cliff.
But they hit something at the perfect straight that it attaches to the front wheel and it fucking catapults them around a fucking cliff.
It's doing like the swinging like Jumanji does on the vines, but in a car.
And like people make fun of video games for being like stupid and stuff. And then like 1 billion fucking people go and watch this stupid shit. It is like a dumb video game.
Yeah. No, it's hilariously absurd. And the trailer was making me crack up, which I don't remember happening for 8. Because 8 didn't really have like anything quite like that. It had the boring like snow, ice thing.
That was crap.
I don't think there was a giggle at 8. There was on 7.
Because remember the gimmick was the self-driving cars that are being controlled, which inherently is just kind of lame.
Yeah.
And isn't that the one where Vin Diesel is like in his own car and they all go around him
Yes.
and shoot like cables into it and trap him, and then he like breaks out of it?
Yeah. No. Watching that movie was why we ended up watching Valerian, because Fast 8 was so boring.
That's right.
That we paused.
We had it on in the
watched
background.
A really funny Valerian.
Yeah, we were just watching clips
trailer.
from Valerian on YouTube because it was much more interesting than watching Fast 8. Were you there with us when we were watching Fast 8?
Yeah, if there's Fast and Furious going down, I'm probably watching it.
I don't remember James being there.
You might have left halfway through or something.
Yeah, because I'm like, even I'm bored of this shit. I want to go in.
It was so bad.
It's one of the...
It is really like unforgivably bad.
It still did really well. People still like it.
Do you have anything else to say about Fast 9 forward? Because I have one other...
Just watch the trailer.
I want to see it at the cinema.
We said this
I
about
kind of want
Hobbs
to do
and Shaw,
too.
And we actually went and had a great time in an awful cinema.
Hobbs and Shaw didn't have any trailer as funny as that.
No.
Like it looked way worse. What was like a funnier trailer?
It was showing them like sprinting down the side of a building and shit. Like it looked so stupid.
It did look really stupid, but not quite the same level as Fast 9 looks.
No, because I think the problem with that was the only comic relief was the Rock, and he's not funny.
Yeah.
While with at least the family, you've got there's moments.
Because The Rock and Jason Statham are such superstars, they could just lean on them, I guess, to carry it.
Yeah.
But I guess Vin Diesel kind of is, but he's got like no charisma.
Yeah.
And you can barely tell what he's even saying.
Is it Tyrese? He makes the
Tyrese and Ludacris.
And Ludacris has had some really funny moments with the fucking window when he's getting shot.
But yeah, on another note, I came up with a little. Well, I discovered something which at first Jim didn't believe. In fact, he refused to believe it until I proved it to him, and I'm curious what you think about this, James, as well. Switching to another franchise that just won't end, Star Wars.
Yes,
because it has to be brought up. Do you know the character Mace Windu? Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. characters from the
let me just say, the Star Wars lightsaber everyone wanted as a kid.
Yeah, kick-ass purple lightsaber.
I was so jealous when I saw kids with the purple. It's like owning a Lamborghini or mansion. It's like as soon as someone got that purple lightsaber, it's like...
You know, apparently his prop had bad motherfucker engraved into his lightsaber.
No,
genuinely.
Fucking hell.
But here's another bit of trivia. You ready for this? There was someone who was up for the role of Mace Windu, who was very passionately wanted a role in the movie. And it might be someone you weren't expecting. That being...
Dear Mama.
Tupac. Tupac apparently... genuinely, apparently Tupac auditioned for the role of Mace Windu, but he was killed before the film was made.
Bruh. Imagine Tupac as Mace Windu.
Look, it's like the prequels are already so like ripe with humour. If Mace Windu was Tupac, like everyone likes Samuel L. Jackson, but like
if Mace Windu was Tupac, not the other way around.
No, because it would just be No, like with Yoda sat next to him and fucking Yaddle in the background.
Tupac sat next to Yoda.
Just the idea of George Lucas directing Tupac is like so humorous.
I guess that Tupac hologram is like a Force ghost as well.
Yeah, what if he was like, to honor his death or whatever, he was like, we're gonna break new grounds and CG Tupac into the role as Mace Windu.
That would have been...
Oh, can you imagine that
Just
universe?
imagine the serious political scenes, but Tupac's fucking saying them.
The oppression of the Sith will never return. His most memorable line. Look it up. There's an article about it, which I read that's very funny.
Well, it started off...
Because I texted you and you were like, no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
You just sent me a picture of Mace Windu with Tupac's face photoshopped onto it.
Yeah, that's how it began. Because humour.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like doing that. I like posing something absurd and then actually explaining it's real. In quotation marks. So that means in another dimension somewhere where things went a little bit different.
That is the universe where everything is like the
world
best.
peace.
Yeah. The world peace.
Because he wasn't warring with Big E. Like in that universe, they settled it, and maybe even Big E had a cameo. Maybe he played Dexter Jetster.
Rest in peace, Tupac and Biggie.
And then Jay-Z could have been Watto.
Yeah.
Get Kanye in there for the episode 3.
Kanye
Could have been a
Jar Jar.
youngling. Kanye Jar Jar. Yeah, so that's just kind of a little slice into a world that could have been.
Yeah. With that said, we'll be back after D's messages.
We'll be back after the oppression of the Sith never returns. So quite soon then.
Well, I mean, that's infinite amount of time.
Want a dick on a shirt? Check the description below.
Welcome to the second half of the JARCAST, where we answer questions from you, the listeners. If you want to leave a question for us to ask, anything you please, head over to the Jar Media Reddit suggestion thread and, just leave us a question. It's as easy as pie. P-I.
Okay, give me pie.
Let's start with this one from Big Boss Man 538. Not 358, 538. Do you boys have any advice on self-acceptance and self-love? Not sure if this has been asked already.
Do we have any what? Advice?
How do you have advice on self-acceptance and self-love? How do we live with ourselves effectively?
Boy.
What I like to do is assume, correct or not, that everyone has the same, if not the same, but the same level of stresses and problems that I do, and feeling like I'm in it with everyone else as opposed to just by myself is one thing that I find aids my progression.
It's not self-love, is it?
It's kind of mutual self-hatred. It's...
Yeah, which is equivalent to love.
Yeah.
If everyone hates themselves, no one does.
Well,
Precisely.
I've had issues with this, like, pretty much throughout my life.
Who hasn't? That's my thing. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Who hasn't?
the more you learn that everyone has their own guff, their own, pooey underwear that weighs them down, the sooner you can, It does help thinking that, like, maybe I'm not alone in all this with certain things. Maybe there are other people that feel this way or have had this happen to them or gone through this type thing.
The main thing for me, like, I remember it was like, 2021 was like, I was still young and mature and I still suffered with a lot of self-hatred. And it's like, for me, it's like just the realism that I shouldn't do it. That I should have a positive, mind for it. I know that's not going to help everyone, but it was just taking the proactive approach in my mind to not. It's like instead of saying, like, thinking in your head that you're bad or that, you just don't do that. You never ever be like defeatist like that. Because if you don't say it, then gradually you're not going to think it, and then you can replace that with positive things. It's about kind of lying to yourself in a way, to try and change the attitude you have in your head.
Yeah, it's like distinguishing between truth and fiction.
Well, yeah, if you're being real hard on yourself, just be like, why?
Yeah, question it.
Remove it from yourself. Like, if you're thinking about an awkward situation like 6 years ago, think like, if I was the person seeing me do that stuff, I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like,
no, oftentimes the things you dwell on most are things that, if it is, say, an embarrassing memory, that they probably don't even remember, because everyone's got their own shit going on in their minds.
Well, yeah, that stuff stays in your head because it affected you negatively.
Yeah.
Like, other people don't remember that because it was your negative moment.
Unless it was something truly memorably embarrassing.
Yeah.
In which case, there's not much you can do aside from just move on, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
One thing that helped me, I know some people probably cringe right now. I had this date in my diary that would recur every day, and at a certain point it popped down on my phone and it just said, work hard, love yourself. And every day that popped up, it was like a reminder that I shouldn't be defeatist and I should not hate myself.
Sometimes reading it, hearing it is all you need.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah, and it worked. And now I kind of, I've got a fucking huge nose, I've got a big chin. I don't care.
Yeah,
Boom.
a lot of self-acceptance is, you have to accept at some point. You spend a lot of time just chasing the thing you don't have or wanting the thing you don't have and forgetting the things you do have. you know, because you're so occupied on chasing that thing you don't. Whether it be the perfect surgery lips or the perfect tummy or anything like that.
A fat nice belly button.
I'm pretty sure I had or have some form of like body dysmorphia, because I remember always having like real hang-ups starting from when I was like an early teen, because you know I got really chubby and had like a chubby phase. I think around then I have something that started me down this path of like being completely obsessed with like body image. Yeah. And like it's weird because even when I was objectively underweight, I still thought I was overweight. So like early JAR, when you could just see like my legs and stuff, I had no idea I was like that skinny. Like in my mind, like I still had weight to lose. Like I know that genuinely, like in my rational mind, that's what I was thinking. But it wasn't until like a few years later, and then happening to see that JAR intro where you could see the jeans I was wearing, how skinny my legs were. I was like, fuck.
How?
And then you just like chicken.
What? Yeah. What changed it? Do you think?
Changed what?
Why you started eating better?
I don't know.
Chicken?
I think it was because I really lost a lot of weight when I first became a veggie.
Yeah. Well, you also moved out around that time.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah, I probably wasn't eating properly.
Yeah.
Not eating the right things. I think it was more a quantity thing. Like I just wasn't eating enough. Like the human body is kind of a tank in certain ways. So it can like adapt to if you're eating one of the extremes, you know, like if you're eating just a tiny bit, it can figure out ways to use that tiny bit of nutrition as the opposite.
You probably weren't getting as much exercise as well because you didn't have a dog or anything. For a while.
No, if anything, I was having more because I was swimming like nearly every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I probably wasn't counteracting like how much I was burning with.
Yeah.
I just wasn't thinking about it, you know. So that's something. But again, also as you get older, you do stop caring about all the dumb shit you care about when you're younger. Which is happening more and more, I'm finding, with like I cared about not showing my appearance in any form. Partially for my own, like, I'm not like that much of an outgoing person, really. I kind of like my privacy, so that was part of it. But the other part was like, I don't want people to see me so they can judge me type stuff. But I obviously don't care about that anymore. Yeah, I don't know. It will, if you stick with it, hopefully it'll improve at some point. That's all I can really say.
Takes time with it. That's the thing. You don't expect instant results. It takes time.
Yeah. No, we have a really good question here I wanted to move on to, but I'm struggling to find it now. It was I found it. From Evan XOX. And this is gonna I don't know how this is gonna go. Okay. Depending on if we agree or not. I've recently had a heated debate among my friend group, and quite frankly, I need answers. So I've reached out to the most intelligent people I know. How many holes are in a straw? A drinking straw.
So why are we being asked this question?
Because we're the deciding factor.
We're not the most intelligent group, though.
Here we are. Let him believe it.
Okay. I'm bloody genius.
Jim, how many holes are there in a drinking straw?
I want you to answer first, because I'm right and I know it.
1. James?
This is a difficult one, really.
No, what flashes into your mind? How many holes are in a drinking straw?
2.
Okay, Jim, what is your answer? You're holding a drinking straw.
It's 1. The answer
Okay,
is 1.
now explain.
It goes all the way through. It's one
hole going all the way along.
Yeah.
I've got a different thing.
Okay, how are there two?
An exhaust on a car. It's like a straw. It's identical to a straw.
No, it's not.
No, it is. Because there's a hole at one end, and then it goes all the way through, and it's just one continuous hole. And then it's not.
So
because there's 4.
If it's one
there's
continuous
4 holes at the end.
So you're saying that has 4?
No, that has 2. Because there's 1 on each end. The exhaust has 1 that goes to 4. So there's 5.
I see what you're saying. So you're
there's
saying
holes.
that the middle doesn't matter, but
No.
because they're removed from each other, the holes are separate.
Yes.
No.
There's 2 holes. If you cut a hole in the side
There are
of it,
2
3
entrances, but 1 hole. That's what.
Well, it depends if you punch a hole in a wall. It's not an entrance to a wall. You've punched a hole in the wall. It's how you use the word hole. Like that. If that's an entrance to the straw, there's 2 entrances. If an entrance is a hole, there's 2 holes.
Hole. A hollow place in a solid body or surface.
So there is 1 hole.
There is 1 hollow body.
But there are 2 entrances to said hollow body.
Yeah.
You guys, you're talking shit.
How many holes are in a straw? I would personally say 1. I'm sure this one's going to spark some kind of debate.
A place or position that needs to be filled because someone or something is no longer there. That's another definition for hole.
Yeah, but you can't fill a straw.
You can with liquid.
Well, no. Not really. I'd say it's 2.
Okay, maybe we should just leave it up to the fans to debate on this one because I'm going to stick with 1. I'm
going to stick with 1.
I think there's 1.
Yeah.
But I also do understand your rationale to a certain degree.
There's a
What?
No,
What
for
are you pointing
example, you punch a hole through that wall.
Right.
That if you go round to the other side, that's not a different hole.
It's the same hole.
It's one hole in the wall.
Because you punched 1 hole.
Yeah. So imagine this was thick, like all the way through, a solid thing, and 1 hole had been punched through it with a machine.
I would ask
That is
how
1
a
hole.
straw's made. Because if they are quite literally made, because I don't think they are. They're made
I don't
by a
think
piece of
that's-
paper that's rolled, so they are 2 holes. I think that's
Why
the
does
way
that
you
make
got
it 2
considered.
holes? What's the difference?
No, because you're not punching. You haven't got a tube that you're punching all the way through. You've got a piece of
No,
paper.
but
you
it's
roll
not
up.
how the hole came about. It's that there
that's
is a hole.
that's what your punching analogy is meaning. It's how that you punched 1 hole and it's come through all the way through. If you punch 1 hole but it doesn't go all the way through, and you have to punch the other one in to make it complete, that's technically 2 holes.
No, it's not. What? If you punch one side, then the other to make it 1 hole?
Yes, because
Then that is 1 hole.
That's 2 holes. Because you've had to punch 2 holes.
No, you've had to punch 1 hole twice.
2 holes.
No, that doesn't make
2
it 2
times
holes.
1.
Can we get another question, please?
No, I just wanted to hear what was coming out of that one. Well, it didn't get quite as heated as the cookie.
Don't even bring up the cookie biscuits.
No, don't worry.
Cookies aren't biscuits.
No, we're not going into
So they're cakes.
Cookies aren't cake.
Bubba Ducky
This
asks
just
this.
proved the jar fans proved that I was right on the cookie
No,
one.
they didn't.
Thing is,
Biscuits go soft.
I
Cookies
can't
go
argue
hard.
against James and anything to do with cookies because I'm just out of my element, if I'm being honest.
Jaffa cakes, cake, not a biscuit. They're a cake.
Yeah,
Cookies.
that one's obvious.
Bubba Ducky
Cookies.
has this to ask. Who has said the N-word more times in their lives? Ruben or the 3 of us combined?
Hey, I've never said the word.
No one likes a fibber, James. That's difficult.
Well,
Not because we're like spamming the M word behind the scenes, but
well, there was a phase when Jim and Ruben did.
That's a lie. There was a phase that never ended where you say it every day. At least once.
I have not said that word ever in the last year. I don't say that word. If I have to, I use a W to be respectful. Fuck you.
yeah. What's your genuine answer? What do you think?
It's a silly question. We're
I think the
incriminating
answer
ourselves.
is Ruben.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably actually a fair assumption.
100%.
Okay. Don't.
I'm just remembering that intro.
Chuffer McDonald has this to say. What are your favourite and least favourite aspects of JAR and for Alex, IHE? So what is the best thing about JAR and what is the worst thing about JAR?
The best thing about JAR is the love and affection our fans give us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The worst thing about JAR is just having to see you two.
Okay. Biting.
The best thing about Jar is having to see you two. The worst thing about Jar. I'm gonna be brutally honest here.
Do it. No.
In my hands, I hold
Not the wolf.
the blue wolf.
The blue wolf.
with the mumps or measles or whatever the fuck he's got. Alex made this when he was like 14, and his neck came out.
I was in year 8. The task was to make your favourite animal out of Modrock. So I made that wolf out of Modrock.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But he's got like the ribbit bit from a frog.
I fucked up it's got a goiter like Dexter Jetster.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's my least favourite.
If I have to be honest, I'm not saying this just because Jim's brought up an object. Dick the Head.
No.
I fucking hate Dick the Head. I've hated Dick the Head since day one. I'm an original hater. I fucking hate Dick the Head.
Why since day one?
As soon as I saw
No, you guys talking to the mic, you mother. That's one of the fathers anyway.
That's
I don't
your
even
father?
know.
Or the grandfather, I can't remember.
Whichever one's Dick the Head. I don't like him.
That's shocking, and I don't appreciate that. Yeah, for me, it's similar lines, except I love every item, obviously, in this room, so none of those count. But yeah, my favourite thing is probably that it's just the most consistent thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a good, consistent thing in my life,
Mm-hmm.
you know? It's like a productive thing somewhat, but also fun. Laid back. Relaxed,
Chilled out.
Cool.
chilled out, pretty cool, I'm running out of
Hip.
hip,
Kind of indie.
Down to clown.
kind of indie. Least favorite, just trying to organize everyone's timelines into one is probably my least favorite thing.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But I mean, whatever.
Yep, we're all busy boys, so
I'm not.
And
you're the busiest.
And my favourite and least favourite thing about IHE, my least favourite is how just so much more cautious I have to be now on that channel.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Once it gets past a certain size, and you're not just making pure humour content that you can just kind of say whatever you want. If you're actually trying to make any points, you have to do so much work to make sure you kind of earn what you're saying and don't piss people off. It's the people I piss off unintentionally that are the ones that annoy me the most. If I make a video about why I think Sonic sucks, it doesn't bug me that people who love Sonic get annoyed by it. But it's when I unintentionally, through some little error or something, I use the wrong word or I, fuck up in some sense. It's just way more of a big deal to me. when it's on that, as opposed to when I'm on like a free-form podcast, which is very casual, and I think people understand it a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, they're more willing to be on your level a bit more than an angry video. But my favourite thing, I don't know, it's given me everything that I have is thanks to it, so that's pretty important, I suppose.
Thank you, I hate everything.
We love you, I hate everything.
We've got to decide. We have an important decision to make right now. The turning point in this episode, where we have 2 possible titles that I've noted down as we've gone along that have come up naturally. One of them has to be used. And you guys got to help me.
I'm ready.
So far, I'm torn between the passionate napper or the blue wolf.
Passionate napper.
Which, so you got to think about it. Think about this is like a little behind the scenes like process of how thumbnails and titles are made.
Yeah.
What are people going to click on more?
Ooh.
Get Fortnite in there. The Fortnite blue wolf, the Iron Man passionate napper. That's always a good. If it's not, if it doesn't have that like clickbait oomph you're looking for.
No, I'm thinking if we do like the blue wolf, but like Photoshop a wolf to be blue, like with a red circle around it in like the wilderness.
Or
Wild blue wolf.
if I wanted to really go mental, edit like something to do with Sonic onto a wolf. Maybe.
Yeah. Although Sonic's a hedgehog.
He's blue.
He is
as
blue.
everyone knows.
Not a wolf though.
What would you click on, James, if you saw the title, the passionate napper?
The thumbnail is a big part of this.
Thumbnail normally comes last for me. It's once I have the title, I'm like, okay, now I know what I can construct.
Right.
Did you see the thumbnail from a few weeks ago with fucking Mort's head on the body?
It's hard to. I would personally be more of a passionate napper.
Okay.
But
That I actually did come up with quite a good jar video where it would have to be just a video one because I did that. Couldn't just be audio, but put like start with episode 1's thumbnail, and we like go through every jar thumbnail and talk about them and point out the humor and decision making behind it.
That would just be me cry laughing most of the time though.
Yeah, maybe there's potentiality in that idea for the future.
Great video. Or play guess the thumbnail.
Yeah. I put my phone. Now I need to go to Twitter because we're recording this a bit early. So the suggestions thread is a bit out of date for us because we were doing 2 in 1 week, sort of.
You mean not up to date?
My favourite, most recent thumbnail of ours is D's sugar, water, and nuts.
What's the thumbnail?
And the thumbnail is the chase. And
the 3 options.
The question is, in 2005, the third-party US presidential candidate, and then you can't see the rest, but A is these nuts, B is these nuts, and C is these nuts.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Don't know that one.
And that was episode 199C.
Whoa. But this tweet comes in from Media who says, what was the moment you decided the podcast would be a long-term project? I feel like that's just we didn't make it with the idea of like, well, we'll do one.
Yeah.
You know?
We, unlike most other podcasters, actually had commitment from the get-go. We were like, we're making this happen.
It's crazy, actually, like, considering the setup we had. Once we started, we never stopped.
And
it became our duty.
It's given us a little purpose.
Yeah. It's all I've got.
Yeah, what actually was like the Do you remember like the conversations? It was just like, no, this has just happened. Like, no one has any control.
Come on, guys, come over. We're doing a podcast now.
Is that really how it started?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was an exciting time and shit. Like,
but I genuinely have no memory of like planning anything. Or...
Well, we just like talked about it for ages about doing a podcast, but we never had the space or resources.
It was especially the gear. Never had like mics. We just never had enough mics.
So then we had like 2 mics and we shared them. Or we had 3, I think.
And it's like once we got going, we just didn't stop. We got into speed and we had it on the wind beneath our feet, and we just kept going.
We rode into the sunset.
Yeah. Because of course it was especially on my mind because I'm just so obsessed with podcasts and always have been.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to do it myself. But like I don't have like any overt speciality, so I was just like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And
no
we
planning.
managed to do this many episodes without a core principle or idea to the podcast.
Yeah, there's like no easy way to describe what it even is.
I was talking to someone about JAR at work, and he was like, what do you talk about? And I was like,
literally
I've been asked
anything.
this question. I've been asked this question before.
Whatever we choose.
And it's like, how could you answer that? I've always been like, I just stutter for like a couple minutes.
That's why, like when I was setting up the RSS feed so the audio version could go up on Spotify and iTunes, the podcast needed like a description of what it was, and I was like, fuck. What the fuck is this? What have we done? So I just stole the Seinfeld thing of it just it's a podcast about nothing. Because like being about nothing kind of is being about something in a weird way.
That's our true power.
Bruh.
And it's like, that's kind of why I hide JAR, because I know it's like...
Hate JAR?
Hide it. Like at work, there's some people I can't...
Because it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
And it's like, I can't tell like someone who's like 50 of what we do. It's just like, things.
You should just
do fucking weird shit as well.
Yeah.
No, but that's the problem. It's just like, I can't explain it, because then if I don't explain it, they're gonna think I'm doing something bad.
Yeah, no, because did you catch when we went to that pub meal the other night, and we were talking to someone there, and they were going through like what our jobs were, and I was like, oh, I'm a video editor, and then I realised how it might sound, and I was like, it isn't safe for work, mind you, because like I just assume like when I say that people think, oh,
that made me laugh.
No, because I've thought that same thing before, that when I've said that, people
really?
probably assume, but I normally clarify a bit more before I see the look on their face turn into, oh, is he a porno guy? Does he make porn? Does he edit porn?
And the thing is, no matter what I say to them, it's like I can't get them to actually look at the channel, because that's even worse. Because then they'll happen to click on one of the early episodes, or one of the really strange ones. It'll be like, I can explain.
Yeah, I'm way less embarrassed of new JAR than I am of
Old
early
JAR was too chaotic.
You know?
Well, I mean, we were all young and dumb.
Do you know?
I mean, we still are.
And full of
but
cum.
We were younger, dumber, and full of cummer.
So it's actually a weird thing. I got asked about JAR at a fucking board meeting at work. The entire team in a fucking board meeting with a fucking massive projector, and the director of our team was like, "So what do you do on YouTube?" And I was like, fucking went red and was just like,
no, you could get around it if you say you just do podcasts, because no one cares about podcasts.
No, I did, and then. Went on YouTube on the fucking projector.
Really?
One, and this was the time when the fucking Shreddies videos were made. So click that one.
Wait, did it actually have the intro of me fighting? Wait, you watched that on the big screen in a boardroom? Genuinely? Yeah. What's their fucking reaction to this?
I can't even remember, but I was just like, I was too busy laughing at the whole situation.
Wow. I'm amazed you've never told us that, but that's the end of the episode otherwise. Thanks for supporting us.
We'll catch you next time.
Ciao for now.
Rate us 5 stars on iTunes, everybody.
6 stars, motherfucker.
7 stars if you actually think straws have 2 holes.